Welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week, Josh and I are checking out Pokemon's first live-action movie, Pokémon Detective Pikachu, starring Justice Smith and Ryan Reynolds. Grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy.
Are we started, Victor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Victor, did you hear that the royal baby was born?
I sure did.
What do you think about that?
It's fine. Happens. Babies are born. My question is the name.
What is the name? I didn't look it up.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I'm sure it's some 4 names, and one of them's Winston or Windsor, Houston or something like that.
I don't remember the other names, the 2 middle names and the last name. But the first one is Archie.
Is it Archie or is it Archibald?
Archie.
Okay.
Yeah. They named her redhead kid Archie. A little strange.
You know what I have to say about the royal baby? Big who cares? Honestly, I don't even know why we still celebrate royalty at this point. Like, especially, like, I know we're still a British colony technically, but like, who cares? You were born into a famous family and you have royal blood. But
I mean,
who cares? Like, our government doesn't, like, we don't answer to them.
Yeah, I think at this point it's just like more like, oh wow, she's been alive for a long time.
Yeah, she's in her 90s, right?
Yeah,
Queen Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, don't care about her grandchild.
Here's the grandchild's full name: Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor.
Oh, I guess Windsor out of nowhere. Way to go! It's just such a British name.
It is.
Yeah, but it's Archie though, not Archibald.
Nope, it's Archie. Yeah,
because Archibald is very British, very old English.
My Facebook feed was very full of Archie.
Maybe
names.
That's why I brought it up. I'm so sick of hearing about the royal family. Like, this week has just been why Meghan Markle is the princess that the family needs, and you know why
not the princess they deserve. Oh, I made that joke in a while.
What was the other headline I was reading? Oh, it's talking about her choice of outfit for the baby reveal.
What?
And it's just like how it was very conservative, anti-feminism or something like that. I don't know what it was, but it was just like, who cares?
Well, that's the thing. There is a lot of people that care about that kind of stuff, and it's
my grandma
strange.
Cares. My grandma had before she moved out of her house years and years ago, she had a lot of Princess Diana stuff.
My mom does too.
Yeah,
which is also strange.
I don't understand. I guess. Well, we were alive when she died, but we were pretty young. So I guess I don't remember the hoopla of like, isn't Princess Diana great? And wasn't there controversy? Wasn't she caught cheating or something? I don't remember. The point is, big who cares?
Yeah, I don't. I spent maybe like 2 minutes reading the Twitter memes.
Oh yeah,
but I did not care. I didn't even share it with anyone. I don't want to be that guy that like start sharing those things.
Anyway, moving on. How are you doing, Victor?
I'm all right, actually. I'm surprised. I only having that one sub today. Like, haven't eaten anything else since.
Yeah, did you want something to eat?
No, I'm not hungry.
All right.
Which is the strange part.
Okay. I'm fine, by the way. Jerk. So Victor, apparently everyone agreed with us last week that Sonic needed a redesign.
Oh, yeah.
And the studio, Paramount, decided that they are going to redesign Sonic before the release date.
Mm-hmm.
Which is for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I should say.
Yeah. November, right?
Something like that. Something in the fall.
It was funny. I got home and I saw the article and it was like, we were just ripping on this for like 2 hours ago.
Yeah. But I don't know how I feel about that for 2 reasons. I don't like the idea of if you complain about something enough that you can change like something as dumb as that. Like, you know what I mean? I think there's already an entitlement to our generation and we don't need people bowing to us when enough people complain about it online.
But I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like that's like the first time that's happened.
What about the Ninja Turtles? Remember how much people hated those designs? And you know what they did? They stuck to their guns.
Yeah, but now we just have shitty Ninja Turtle designs.
Yeah. So?
No one wins. No one wins.
The reason why I'm upset about it, though, is that they're like, yeah, we'll change it for you guys. But it's not like like a flip of a switch. Like a lot of animators are going to be working overtime to fix that, to try to meet their release date.
Well, I like to think of it this way. This is kind of like it's going to set an example for like other studios where they try to take like a very famous IP and put their own spin on it. They might, I don't know. I'm hoping they'll think twice before they like do terrible designs for characters that like are very well known.
But they don't feel the repercussions of it. You know what I mean? Because they're not the ones doing the grunt work. So these animators are going to have to be working. Like, say, even if they just enlarge his head, that changes the eye line.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, all the footage that they've already shown and finished in the trailers, can't use that anymore. It's not as simple as just, well, we'll just tweak the design we already have and then just throw it into the animation we already have. Like, they have to reanimate everything.
Yeah. But like, I think at the same time, though, the guys that, I think the original creator for Sonic was like, I think he was against the design as well. I think he voiced his opinion on it way back. And like they just ignored it. But even same with like when they first released the poster for Sonic.
Yeah.
Like it was just like a silhouette of him. People were already complaining about that. So
that's
like,
true. I mean, yeah, they had lots of time to make this decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think in their arrogance, they were just like, wait till they see the trailer though. They'll love it. They'll love it when they see the trailer.
Oh shit, they hate it.
Who could have saw that coming? All the animators like put their hands up.
I don't know. Like they remember the same thing with like Transformers. They were saying like, oh, people don't want to see a direct translation from the cartoons to the movie screen. Like it's gonna look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael Bay did his thing, and then people hated it. But now for Bumblebee, they did the I don't know. It's like a mixture of like the old designs and like Michael Bay's stuff.
Yeah,
and people loved it. So it's like I don't know. Maybe people are starting to see it doesn't need to be crazy overly sci-fi, fancy remade for the big screen to.
Well, I don't mind that they are redesigning it because I agree that it needs to be redesigned because it's not even a nice looking design that doesn't look like Sonic. As I said last week, it's an ugly design.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It sets a bad precedent that studios will bow down and listen to you if you complain enough about something. And I would rather a studio stick by their guns, even if it's the wrong decision, and be like, no, the people don't know what they want. They think they do, but they want something that they're not expecting. I don't know how that falls into the design, but
I guess. But then you take like Episode 8 from Star Wars, an example. That guy just is like, oh, people weren't expecting me to kill off Snoke, so I'm just going to kill him off. They're expecting some backstory for Rey's parents. No, they were just some junkers. I don't know. Like that's kind of how I see it. It's like, well, are you making these decisions just to like put a spin on things, or are you making these decisions because they're smart?
Yeah, I get that. I think we're both right in a lot of ways.
Is that your way of saying, let's move on?
No, I mean, I think we're right there. We're both right in that. And I think there is a certain amount of fan service that they have to do when they're adapting intellectual properties, especially like you would think the cynical thought of producers is like, well, we already got the Sonic fans. So that's the built-in audience right there. And then we just need to make it so that we get the rest of the audience to like it. So there is that cynical nature of just like, well, they're going to come at either way. So
yeah,
who cares what they think? So I think there is a balancing act between giving them enough fan service, but also it's an adaptation. So it's not going to be exactly what you're expecting.
Yeah, but like you still got to do it good.
That being said, I'm not talking about Sonic. I'm talking about
just in general.
In general, Sonic, like you need at least a nice design.
Yeah, like it's one of those things like you can have a bad movie, but like if it's fun to watch, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Transformers.
Is it fun to watch?
I don't know. I'm questioning my example now.
Victor, Disney announced a huge amount of dates.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Do you want to hear some of the dates they have? Not all of them are like, we know what the movies are per se, but we know what the franchise is.
Ew.
So starting off first, we got Star Wars movies coming in 2022, 2024, and 2026.
Oh.
So every 2 years at Christmas time. But they're going back and forth with Avatar movies. So Avatar movies, it's going to be 2021, 2023, 2025, and 2027.
This is the blue people Avatar, right?
Yeah, the James Cameron. The Na'vi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. Sure.
they're really banking hard on people loving Avatar, and I don't know if anyone other than James Cameron is kind of clamoring for more Avatar.
I don't really remember that movie. I remember it was a big deal because it was one of the first few shot with those IMAX cameras.
Well, he reinvented 3D.
Yeah.
So he is responsible for the new generation of 3D. Like what is that called? The environment? I don't know. It's like the 3D environment and not like we're in 3D here. Let's throw a spear at your face. And it's more about the immersive environment, I guess.
Gotcha. The immersive 3D experience.
And it's currently the #1 movie of all time as far as box office because they got to charge people all this extra money to go see it in 3D.
That's unfair. Where's Endgame in relation to that in terms of like...
Actually, this week, funny you should ask, it has now moved into the 2nd place.
Yeah.
It's beaten Titanic. And so
Makes
Endgame is getting close to Avatar, but there is speculation of whether it will actually topple Avatar at some point. It's going to get close though. Anyway, there's some more dates that we could talk about. So that was Avatar and Star Wars. So that being said, that's a new Star Wars.
Oh, so they're doing like episode 10, 11, 12?
I don't know if that's it. Like they haven't announced what they are. They just said Star Wars movie 2022. So it could be a completely new trilogy about something completely different, or it could be an episode.
I really hope one of them isn't like a Chewbacca movie.
There's some Marvel movies coming out.
Oh, they announced more?
They announced release dates. So we have May 2020, November 2020, which we knew about.
What's November?
I don't know what's happening in November, but I mean, it's a month. It's the 11th month of the year, Victor.
Very good. Thank you.
They also have one February, May, and November of 2021, February, May, and July of 2022, and that's all they've announced so far.
How many movies is that now?
3, 6, 8 movies.
It's 8, and then we know about
8 between the 3 new franchises and the sequels we assume are happening.
Okay, so that lines up then.
Yeah, I kind of wish I think they have more because they were talking about having plans till 2024, 2025. So I imagine they might announce more.
Yeah,
or they'll skip some sequels that we're expecting.
Yeah, that'd be a weird move.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Do you think you could see another Doctor Strange movie?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Doctor Strange is one of my favorite solo movies.
All right, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that makes sense. Never mind then. I don't know. It's like Doctor Strange. He's really cool. Like he's really powerful. And it's like, I guess he's kind of like Superman. It's like, would I be more interested in other characters? Like he's so powerful already.
But there's an easy story element that you could add to it that makes him, that you could power check him. Him going into other dimensions and stuff. It could just be like, well, they're more powerful in their dimension and you aren't as powerful or whatever.
Or they'll just do the Dragon Ball thing where they just keep upping the power levels of each character.
That's right. Yeah. There's an Indiana Jones movie scheduled for 2021.
Do you think it's still Indiana? I guess it has to be if it's called Indiana
Jones.
Well,
I was curious. So I looked up Harrison Ford's age. He'll be 78 when that movie comes out.
Okay. Just picturing him riding like side by side with the guys on horses, but he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're planning on doing this unless they do like a real expensive one and they de-age him for the entire movie.
Okay. But like he still has to be in shape enough to do these.
You don't have to though. If it's CGI, get a body double. Just throw his face on it.
So is he just sitting? I don't know how this works. Does he just sit in a room and emote?
Well, I mean, he could do motion capture for like the talking scenes and stuff like that. But like anytime you start, like his stunt guy is going to be doing it anyway. And nowadays they throw your face on the stunt guy digitally anyway. They could do that. Wow. I just sold myself on this movie. I was about to harp on it and be like, why are they bothering? I would be fine with that if they did another sequel, but it was like an in-between cool where it's like he's still young and sometime before Crystal Skull.
You think they start doing that now? Just start getting actors who retire, just get the rights to their face?
Yeah, that's a scary thought. But with the way deep fakes are now, like do you know what deep fakes are?
I do not.
So deep fakes are, they can map your face and then they can put you on someone else's body and make it look like you are saying everything that person is saying. There's lots of funny ones online of like Jennifer Lawrence with Steve Buscemi's face.
No.
And like Joe Rogan was talking about on his podcast this week with, I can't remember the guy's name, but There was one where they did Joe Rogan's face on Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really interesting because they can also create an algorithm that copies your voice and inflection. And so you can, it's not quite there yet, but it's getting there. So it's a little scary. They can just make you say anything.
Yeah, I was watching an interview with one of the guys behind one of those companies, and they got the interviewer to just read through these like 9 specific lines, and it's enough to like analyze your voice to basically map out your voice pattern. Crazy.
So anyway, what was my point about deepfakes? Oh, yeah, they could do that. That might start becoming contracts. Like when you sign onto a huge franchise, it's just like, if anything should happen to you, you give away the rights to your face that we can use to recreate this character. And because they did that with what's his name, Peter Cushing in Rogue One, the Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh yeah. Oh, it looked weird, didn't it?
Well, it's not there yet, but I mean, he's dead. He died in the 80s or something like that. So yeah, it's scary what they're capable of now.
Yeah.
All in the name of entertainment. Anyway, with that, there was also some Fox dates because Disney now owns Fox. So they've shifted some stuff around.
Dark Phoenix 2!
No, but New Mutants has been pushed back again to 2020. It was supposed to come out this summer, I think.
Have they started shooting, or is the movie done and they just keep pushing it back?
I don't know. I've heard that they had it done, but then they wanted to do reshoots, but those reshoots never happened.
Nice.
So I don't know why they keep insisting on releasing it theatrically. I don't know why they don't just put it on Disney Plus when it comes out. I think you cut your losses at this point.
If you keep pushing it back, people are just going to keep getting reminded of the X-Men that Fox started.
Well, I mean, it's not unusual for movies to be held back for a long time. It's just it's weird that this one like has had a trailer and it's more widely known because
it has a trailer.
Yeah, came out like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, I don't remember it at all.
One day we'll watch it. What was I saying? Yeah, but it's not unusual for movies to be put on the shelf for a few years, but it's just because this one is part of a huge franchise that it's
getting attention.
Yeah, getting attention for it, but it happens a lot.
Wait, is New Mutants the one with Macy Williams?
Yes. Yeah, she's playing Wolfsbane, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Wolfsbane was in it.
Yeah.
Cool. I dig it.
Anyway, and Gambit has been removed from the schedule.
Excellent.
I looked it up. Gambit was originally supposed to be released October 2016.
Oh, shit.
Kept getting pushed back. It is now canceled.
Was it still Channing Tatum?
I think so. There was original talks that it was going to be the guy who played him in Wolverine Origins. I think his name's Taylor Kitsch.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sounds like Flash.
Yeah. Flash is the new Gambit. We'll see if that one ever comes out. Apparently, Victor, there's a Nova movie in development.
Really?
No, yes. Okay.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
It's just more rumor at this point, but
is there any rumor of like which Nova we're getting?
No.
Dang it.
I just saw this. I just thought it's ridiculous. So we should talk about it. There's apparently a petition for Captain Marvel star Brie Larson to step down as Captain Marvel.
Oh, fuck off.
Nothing new, but they want it. They want her to step down so that a gay woman of color can take up the role.
What? That's not like. Weren't they complaining about that? That they were like that Hollywood was giving. They were just like gender swapping characters and.
Well, there's precedent for that. Like there was another Captain Marvel before her who was a black woman. You could easily make her gay. They even set her up in the movie. That's like the little girl, her Maria Rambeau. What was her name?
Oh, okay.
So you could make her a gay woman, but I just find that hilarious. Again, it's a Sonic thing where it's like, if we make a big enough stink, they'll do it. Where it's like, no, because you don't know what you want. You think you do, but it's a bad idea, and you would get it and you'd complain about it. I mean, I'm sure I'd be fine with that, but I just think it's hilarious that even the most of the hate about Brie Larson is that she's a social justice warrior. Mm-hmm. And now this petition is probably created by social justice warriors. And they're like, we want her to step down because she's not gay enough and she's not black enough. I just found it funny. She can't win. Victor, speaking of Marvel, there was a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer this week.
I guess just spoilers ahead if you haven't seen Endgame because this trailer kind of spoils it, and we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
I thought it was fine. I don't know. I know it's weird. I know it's because of Spider-Man, but like I'm getting flashbacks to the previous Spider-Man movies and their trailers from Sony.
like the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like I feel like I'm getting the entire story now. I feel like I feel like this trailer's shown everything.
And it's one of those things where it's like, am I getting all the information, or is it like, what are they hiding?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
The big bomb that everyone's talking about is Mysterio is from another Earth
or the dimension. Yeah,
and there's a multiverse.
Yeah. Did you see that article this morning on comicbookmovie.com? They were saying there's a potential that British Spider-Man could make an appearance.
Yeah,
it's like, why do people care about the Spider-Man? Because they're in England?
I don't know why they care about that Spider-Man in particular, but
Spider-Man UK, that's it.
I don't like the idea of Spider-Man going into the Spider-Verse because I've seen that movie. That was a great movie. You don't need to retread that with the MCU Spider-Man.
And also, like, the multiverse is kind of a big deal. I don't think Spider-Man should be the first one to be the first one to introduce us into it, you know?
It is an interesting idea. It kind of overly complicates things. I don't know. I just need Spider-Man fighting a bad guy. I don't need to. If it's part of the plot, okay, fine. But if it's just Mysterio's from another dimension, deal with it. Like it's like Katana in Suicide Squad. Remember when they introduced her and they're like, "Hey, by the way, don't get killed by her because her sword will steal your soul." It's like, I don't need to know that. Like, she never steals anyone's soul.
Yeah, they never
in the movie,
it.
So why mention it? Like. Granted, I have not seen the movie, so maybe it plays a big part of the storyline and the plot. But
I still wouldn't want it. Like, I don't know. It'd be like Captain America introducing us into like the different realms. It's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit the tone of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'd expect the new dimension thing coming from like the Fantastic Four or like Thor. You know?
So, yeah, or an Avengers movie or something like that. And again, the plot would be around that, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't just be like, that's part of my backstory.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. So that being said, though, how much do you think Mysterio is BSing? Because I heard him say he's from the multiverse, and I'm just like, well, that's a load of crap.
I don't know. I like Nick Fury's hired them, so like I don't know. Unless they dumb Fury down, I'd assume
Fury has been snapped for the past 5 years. He's playing catch up.
Yeah, but like I don't think he'd be the kind of guy that would like recruit someone that he didn't fully trust after all of the whole Hydra business.
Well, okay. Well, how would you prove that you're from another dimension?
I mean, you can look him up. You can look up Quentin Beck.
Yeah, but maybe there isn't another version of him.
I see. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's like, so how did he prove it? Did he come through a portal? That's easy enough to fake if you're Mysterio.
I'm hoping he's full of crap.
Me too. I could see like the multiverse thing being true, but him being from it, I could see him lying. Because apparently there was a set visit also this week that they started releasing, or there was a set visit last August, but they started releasing info from that. So they were saying that the elementals are also from his dimension and that he has come over to help stop them.
Do you think it's part of his?
It's part of his scheme, man. He created them. It's a good way to explain them away.
That would be, yeah.
They're from another dimension. They've always been around, just not on your Earth.
I want to see that Earth. I want to see this Earth he's talking about.
Sounds messed up. But anyway, did you notice in the trailer there's a scene where Peter takes off a pair of sunglasses and he's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So those are apparently the same sunglasses that Tony wore in Infinity War, or at least they're like the same design. So I'm wondering if they actually are Tony's glasses and he's seeing x-rays with them. And so that's him discovering like, oh my gosh, the elementals are robots or.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
Imagine Hydra Man was just some dude with like hover jets just like spraying some guy down.
Just has hoses. Wait, what are those jetpacks where it's like there's a hose in the water
and just using water to like propel himself off the water. Water jets. Water jetpack. I don't know.
I think we can probably put my Nick Fury as the chameleon.
Did they have the chameleon and him in the same shot?
Yeah, that kind of debunked it for me. But he could still be the chameleon. Nick Fury could still be the chameleon. maybe in that scene, he's just not. I don't know.
Do you think the chameleon didn't research enough to like know who Peter was?
Maybe. I don't know. But actually, one of the producers, someone asked him about that because they said, hey, this guy's playing Dimitri and bad guy named Dimitri is the chameleon. And so they were like, well, we don't want to like say one way or the other, but if he works for Nick Fury, his name's Dimitri. I mean, there's a good chance that he has a mysterious past about him. Whatever. So there was
Is
like
that a requirement to work for Fury? What the fuck?
So I mean, they're not confirming,
but they're not denying either.
Yeah. So he could be the chameleon still.
You think they're gonna do like the prosthetics chameleon where he's like just putting on masks and like prosthetics, or do you think he's gonna be like a shapeshifter?
That's a good question.
They go the mutant route,
or like he got his hands on some Skrull blood.
Wait, what?
There was a big vat. He found a huge vat of Skrull blood, and he just dove in, and he's just swimming around in it naked, and that gave him shape-shifting powers.
Yeah, that's 100% what I meant for sure.
There was in the early Fantastic Four days, they fought 3 Skrulls, and they convinced the Skrulls at the end of the issue to transform into cows, and they wiped their memories. And then later on, I can't remember what happened.
Why are their body chemistries the same? Do they get cow milk or Skrull milk?
Well, that was the thing, is I can't remember what happened to the person who did it, but there was another person they were fighting, and they're like, how did he get his powers or whatever? And it turned out that those 3 Skrull cows were a part of a beef farm, and so they were turned into hamburgers.
Oh, what the fuck?
And then someone ate those burgers, and it gave them powers because they were Skrull burgers. I think this happened. I definitely know they turned into cows, and I think they got eaten.
That's the dumbest thing. That's the stupidest thing.
I'm just saying.
But whatever, I guess.
It could also be that chameleon has that like face thing that Black Widow had in Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to think. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Because the actor that they got to play chameleon has the hugest nose. And there's like no way that you could put a mask over that thing.
I mean,
you could in the movies.
What if you make all the features on your face bigger?
You just make your head bigger?
Yeah. Yeah.
It could work.
Yeah. You wouldn't stand out at all.
I wrote down, producer has compared Mysterio to Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange.
He wasn't a Baron yet though, right?
No, his name was Carl. I think Carl Mordo.
A stupid name.
Anyway.
Fuck you, Carl.
So I think they're really trying to sell this as Mysterio's a good guy. Don't worry. He's a good guy. He's not a bad guy like he is in the comics. He's a good guy.
For now.
But he's going to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I also read that he was just like, yes, he's a bad guy in the comics, but we want to develop his relationship with Peter so that when he does, if he were to reveal himself as a bad guy, it's more of a betrayal.
Yeah. Well, plus how cool it'd be if if the Sinister Six was like, they all had like really deep connections with Peter. Not all of them, but like some of them. Because like Vulture, he liked his like daughter, right? So then if Mysterio was like a brother to him, and then Doc Ock was like his mentor or something like that, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Speaking of Vulture, he and Scorpion are not returning in this movie.
That makes sense.
Confirmed by the director. Apparently they're going to have some form of the Daily Bugle and J. Jonah Jameson maybe in this.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Apparently it's going to be very different from how he is in the comics.
Yeah. How would you do it?
I wouldn't mind if they just went the podcast route they did with the Spider-Man games for the PS4.
Okay.
He's just like it's almost like a radio station, and he just kind of chimes in here and there.
He's almost like Alex Jones.
Yeah.
But a little less crazy.
Is he though?
I mean, he's not wearing a tinfoil hat, but he is like, in the comics at least, he paid money for Scorpion to be created. So, yeah, I could see them doing a podcast. I could see him still being like a newspaper man or a news site owner or something like that.
News anchor.
But Peter's not taking photos. He's taking videos. So he's just like, where do you get this cell phone footage? It's amazing. Because that makes more sense. Like, because again, I've been reading the old 60s comics, and like Spider-Man is routinely like putting his camera up in a corner and taking pictures before he fights. And it's just like,
I like that.
But it's also like, how did you get good shots?
Yeah.
I guess you didn't need them in the 60s, right? You're just like, look at these 2 blobs. That one's Spider-Man for sure. We're gonna fight in the Doc Ock on that rooftop.
Just picture him doing that now, and he has like this fancy camera, but like he's got a wireless remote for it.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's doing like fancy cool shit. Snaps a shot here and there.
Just have it part of his glove or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could work. Who would you cast as Jameson?
I have no idea.
Okay. There's been some names thrown around. Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul.
I don't know why. I thought he was the that weird hitman dude.
Oh, Mike Ehrmantraut.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought that was him.
He's a little too old. Bob Odenkirk, I think he could play like the disdain. I don't think he could do like the over the top yelling. I don't think he could do that.
Yeah.
I've heard Jason Sudeikis.
Oh.
What do you think about that? He's a little young in my head, but he could do it, I think.
He has a really friendly face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I'm like a maybe on it.
To me, I'm kind of personally holding out. Maybe they just do J.K. Simmons again.
I was thinking like J.K. Simmons would be I don't know. He's really old now. Like he's in Commissioner Gordon territory, and I'm fine with him there.
Yeah, I don't know who else you could get.
Maybe just a newcomer, just a new old comer.
Oh, come on, you need a good actor in that. Not that a newcomer can't be a good actor, but like that's a role that you sell the movie with. It's just like, yeah, come back for Tom Holland, but check out J. Jonah Jameson's in this movie, and he's going to be played by Mel Gibson. He could play him.
You know what? I'd be okay with that.
That was the first name I thought of, and that actually kind of works.
I know he gets a lot of hate, but like I can separate the actor from like his personal beliefs and shit. But like,
well, and he's also apologized for it.
Well, I don't care. I don't care what
yeah. Whatever.
But I could see Mel Gibson as an angry old dude.
Last thing, there will be a twist comparable to the Vulture twist of Homecoming. Remember that Vulture was Liz's dad?
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading about that today, because there's a news item for it. And so I was reading comments, and people were like, oh, so MJ's Nick Fury's daughter? Okay, they said comparable to it, not the exact same twist over again. Just like, come on. I was like surprised. I was just like, look at this dumb guy. And then like there's like 8 to 12 different people who said that, and it's just like, what? Like,
that was the running joke. You know how for Phase 2 it was just like the people's getting their hands cut off.
Yeah.
For Spider-Man movies, it's people being people's daughters or sons.
Anyone he's interested in turns out to be someone's daughter. I mean, I guess that's true anyway, right? Everybody is somebody's daughter.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's all I had to say about Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. I think. You have anything to say? Anything else? MJ knows he's Spider-Man.
I wonder if that's like a joke though. Do you think they're really leaning on that?
I think what's going to happen is he's going to try to tell her that he likes her. And then she's going to be like, you're trying to tell me that you're Spider-Man. And then he'd be like, oh, no. And then there's going to be a moment in it where Chameleon will show up as Spider-Man. And she'll be like, oh, I really thought you were Spider-Man. Interesting. I don't know.
I mean, I could see that that's happened before in the comics.
Because Chameleon does work for Fury in this movie.
Yeah.
Assuming that guy's Chameleon.
Oh, who is that guy? There's a guy that he's on a TV show, and he has some condition where he's like lost all of his hair on his like head.
He has alopecia?
Sure.
It's Barry. It's Barry. I can't remember the actor's name, but he plays NoHo Hank on it. Gangster with a heart of gold.
I remember seeing him. I was like, oh man, that'd be a good guy for a Chameleon if we wanted to go that route for
He would be a good guy.
Because like blank slate.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Any prosthetics is wicked.
He is hilarious in Barry, by the way. This is my weekly plug to watch Barry. If you're not watching Barry starring Bill Hader, it's about a hitman who decides to give up the life and become an actor. And it's extremely funny. It's also very dark at times. Watch Barry. It's great. It's on HBO. End plug. Any other thoughts about Spider-Man Far From Home, Victor?
Nope. I think that's it.
That's it. Okay.
So, Josh, we saw a movie tonight.
Yes, we did. We saw Pokémon Detective Pikachu, Victor.
Yeah, that was... Do
you want to talk about the guy who sat beside you?
I don't.
No.
He was a little friendlier than like you'd want for someone sitting next to you in a theater. Sorry, I don't. In your failure. He was just injecting himself into our conversation, which was kind of strange. It's fine in like different settings, but like for this one, it's a little weird, especially because like he misheard us and he started talking about something completely different.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to like correct someone because he misheard you.
Yeah. Because it was just like, huh, it's almost as if you weren't a part of this conversation. Yeah. Because you feel bad and you don't want to be like, nope, we weren't talking about that, but I guess we can talk about that, stranger. Like
I've been that guy. I've been the guy that like, puts himself in a conversation.
Yeah.
But like usually it's at like a party or like in a very social setting. But like in a theater, kind of weird. But not a spoiler review. What did you think of the movie?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a solid movie. Wasn't like the best movie of all time, but pretty solid.
Did you have any expectations going in? Because it's one of those like IPs that we kind of grew up with, right? So I'm assuming you grew up with Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I was a huge Pokemon fan for a little while. No, I didn't really have too many expectations. I mean, it's a video game movie, so I was expecting it to maybe suck. It didn't though. I think this one, I wouldn't say it broke the curse, but it's the exception to the rule.
Yeah. Because like most video games generally poor.
They don't translate.
No.
And I think what made this one work is they didn't try to follow any story of the game. Like it seemed like they made up their own story and just took elements of it. And I mean, it helps that Pokemon is a multimedia franchise, right? Like there was cartoons that they could take stories from and stuff, and movies and other things. So it wasn't just like the blank story of Mortal Kombat. They're trying to adapt.
I was just thinking about Mortal Kombat. Man, that movie sucked.
Non-spoiler, Victor, what did you think?
I thought it was only okay. It was kind of cliche in a lot of parts.
Okay.
I can't pull on the top of my head, but like, yeah, I don't know.
We can get into that too.
I thought it was fine. I wouldn't see it again.
No?
No.
Okay.
I think the only part I think the part that I enjoyed the most of this was the main character, played by Justice Smith. It was
Tim Goodman.
Tim Goodman and Pikachu.
Yeah, their relationship was really well done.
I think for me that's what makes the movie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I would agree with that. 100%.
I don't think that's enough for me to like want to see the movie again.
Mm-hmm. Should we get into spoilers then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sure. So you were saying that it felt cliche to you at points? Because I would agree with you.
Yeah. Did you see the first Pokemon movie, the animated one?
No, I didn't watch any of the movies. I wanted to, but it was at a time in my life where I wasn't allowed to go to the movie theaters.
I don't. Maybe I think cliche is the wrong word. I think maybe cheesiness of it's really high. Like the whole thing about like hope, that thing that speech Pikachu gives in the trailers, but like them understanding each other, that's hope.
And was that ever really explained?
Nope.
Why he could hear him?
I thought it was because of the that little like smoke that he inhaled, but like a bunch of people did, no one else started.
Yeah. Was it because he shared DNA? Because spoiler, the person he's talking to is actually his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Does that be why? So like,
I would assume it's either that or like Mewtwo was like, "Hey, you're gonna do this. This is how it's gonna work out."
Yeah. I don't know. Before we get too far into the weeds there,
do you want to get into like just break down the plot real quick?
Yeah. So, the beginning of the movie, there's a young man named Tim who has been called to Rhyme City, which is a city that allows Pokemon and humans to live and work in harmony.
Mm-hmm. There's no Poke battles. There's no trainers
or anything like that. It's just they all just kind of live in the city. It's big city. And he gets called to Rhyme City because his dad has died in a car accident. He was a police detective, one of the best police detectives in the police department.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. And so he goes there.
Sorry, can you just imagine a story about the worst police detective?
That's interesting. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so he goes to his dad's apartment, and there he finds a Pikachu that can talk, but only he can hear him.
Yeah.
And so they find out that that maybe his dad is still alive, and so they need to figure that out. Yeah. So the plot is them trying to figure out this case.
And we find out that pretty early on that Pikachu is his dad's Pokemon partner.
Yeah,
because I think it's given that like most people in this universe has a Pokemon partner.
Yeah, everyone has one Pokemon, which is a little different from what the lore is, because usually it's you have one you start with one and then you gotta catch them all.
Yeah, I guess if you're a trainer, then you would have multiple.
I guess that's a good point.
We found out pretty early on that this is his dad's Pikachu, but he can't really help find his dad because he's lost his memory.
Yes.
That's what sets up the plot a little bit better. Because otherwise, if he had all his memories, it's like, oh, just explain the whole thing to him.
Yeah, and so it eventually leads them to this lab where the legendary Pokemon Mewtwo is being experimented on with the I wouldn't go to this movie for the plot, but it's so there's a guy who wants to make the best evolution possible between Pokemon and humans. He wishes humans could evolve, and so his goal is to put humans into Pokemon bodies.
Yeah. And I don't see that as an evolution.
No.
That's just you being a Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's no benefit to either of those two combining.
Yeah. What did you think of the Pokemon in this?
Yeah, they were really well done. I liked that they kept the original designs.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
much
complained about them, I think, when we saw the first trailer, because I want them to be a little bit more lifelike, but it works in the movie.
I think it works pretty well here. The CGI is you can definitely tell it's CGI, but like it doesn't bother me in that sense.
There's the characters are animated well enough that you forget that they're not actually there.
And I think the world is colorful enough that the Pokemon don't stand out because of that.
Yes, for sure.
But there are definitely scenes where you can tell the Pokemon are really CGI because the actors that are interacting with them aren't touching them really, but they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like there was this, I think it was the lieutenant, police lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be like hugging his Pokemon, but like you could tell there was a bit of like
he's just hugging air, and they put the Pokemon in there. This movie made me feel simultaneously nostalgic and very old. Because I was just like, because I remembered as a boy being into Pokemon, but there were so many Pokemon that I did not recognize because they were after my time as being a fan.
Some friends and I were talking about like who we chose for like our first gen Pokemon, like when we started playing the Pokemon Red and Blue. And like there was one guy, he's a little bit younger than us, but we really felt the age there because his 3 starter Pokemon were from the second generation. And it's like he was the only one. Yeah, it's like, oh right. You're not like us.
Get out of our group.
It's funny because he isn't in our group anymore.
And that's the reason why.
100%. We won't admit it, but for sure.
Yeah, the Pokemon were really well done. I mean, as the ones I knew, I was like, yeah, that's what their powers, I imagined what their powers would look like. There were some that I was just, I had no idea who they were. And I was just like,
I think Greninja was the only one of like the second gen that I recognized.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and it wasn't until the end credits because they showed what the Pokemon were drawn like for like the Pokemon Trainer's Guide and stuff. And I was just like, oh yeah, I guess they did update some of these.
A little bit.
Not too much. They're recognizable, but it was just, they made them a little bit more lifelike. And
I think the weird one for me was Charizard having fur.
He didn't have fur. Charizard had scales. He's a dragon, Victor.
Well, that's what I thought he would have had, but he didn't have. I thought
no.
He was kind of like furry.
What was wrong with your glasses?
Actually, my glasses had a scratch on. That's why I had to go and swap them.
No, he definitely did not have fur.
Oh, because I had. Okay, well maybe not then. Did Psyduck have fur? Am I remembering this? Have I drank too much? Is one beer too much for me now?
Psyduck didn't have fur. He had feathers.
It looked furry.
Pikachu had fur.
Looked good on Pikachu. I thought Charizard looked weird. I couldn't, like, the textures didn't look like scales to me.
He had scales, yeah.
It didn't look like scales to me.
But yeah, if you're a Pokemon fan, I think you will love this movie just for the sheer fact that like there are Pokemon jammed packed in almost every shot of this movie.
But like, I don't know. They're not really being Pokemon.
I don't know.
You know
There was
what I mean?
part of me though, because again, I don't recognize the majority of them nowadays, but I was like, oh, it's a Machamp. Oh, it's a Graveler. And like, oh.
But like there's just, I feel like it's just one of those things. It's just like they're just thrown in there, but they don't really do anything.
But it builds the world out though.
It does. It does feel like a very lively city. It does feel like I am convinced, like, yes, for sure, that is a Pokemon city.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. But at the first time you see that city, it does a lot of like, I don't know what those shots, establishing shots of the city.
Yeah. with like the Pidgeotos flying and stuff.
Mhm. And like there was a lot of scenes where it's like that seems like a lot of Pokemon in that city.
Mhm.
It's almost like too much. And I was like, they must play a part in this end game somewhere.
Oh,
And we find out,
and they did.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah, so that's probably a perfect transition into this movie was pretty predictable.
Yeah.
Like laughably at some points. I think I predicted the two big twists at the introduction of characters.
Did you? Oh yeah. I remember you whispering to you.
Yeah, because there was Bill Nye plays this CEO of a corporation. They introduced him in like a Subway video or something like that.
Mhm.
And they're like, and that the creator of Rhyme City is obvious bad guy. And
And I think like a few minutes later, I was like, oh, I bet he's Mewtwo. As soon as they mentioned Mewtwo, I was like, oh, I bet he's Mewtwo.
and he turned out to
He
be.
turned out to be. Yeah.
And then the main plot of as we mentioned, Tim is looking for he hasn't seen his dad in years,
Mhm.
not since he was a boy. And there's some flashbacks, and there's a guy hugging his grandmother. And right then I was just like, that's Ryan Reynolds. His dad's Ryan Reynolds. And I recognized him from the back of his head.
Yeah. And like you mentioned that to me, and I kind of kept that in my mind for a bit. And there's one scene you show because his dad gets in a car crash, and that's what supposedly kills him. But like you don't ever see him, but you see the back of his head at one point. He's laying on the ground. And I was like, oh, maybe that is Ryan Reynolds. And then Mewtwo does this thing where like he kind of like he scans Pikachu, or like he highlights him with some kind of beam of light, and then he puts a beam of light on Ryan Reynolds. I was like, is Ryan Reynolds Pikachu? Is his dad Pikachu? That's why he sounds like Ryan Reynolds? Yeah. It's 100% it.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. And I just found that hilarious because this is my thinking. They're doing the flashback of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't shown his dad at all yet.
Yeah.
They see him hugging the grandmother. And I was like, well, they're not showing his face. Why wouldn't they show his face? Oh, he's white. Oh, he's Ryan Reynolds. And then, it just, as the movie went on, it just kept like pieces kept falling into place. And I was just like, he's totally Ryan Reynolds.
And like, I think it helps too that like we watch a lot of movies. Well, you definitely more than I do.
Yeah,
but
for
like,
sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I think even if I hadn't watched as much as I have, or haven't like, because we used to play a game together, we used to like pick out plot, like try to predict stuff as they go, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think even if we hadn't done that, I think I still would have picked up those cues for Ryan Reynolds.
The one twist I didn't pick up on until moments before they did the payoff for it was that the son of the CEO was a Ditto the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, that threw me off.
Because there was a moment, I think it was the scene before that we saw him, because he'd been wearing the sunglasses for like the majority of the movie. And he shows up at the parade at the end and he's still wearing sunglasses. I'm like, is he still wearing sunglasses? That's so weird. And then they find like the actual version of him in an office. I'm like, oh, he's a Ditto. And they set it up because there's a shot earlier where a Ditto transforms into a guy to push his dad's wheelchair.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, oh, okay.
And it kind of threw you off a little bit because like the first interaction, the only interaction you see with him and his dad, him and his like the CEO, is that he's pissed off and like aggressive towards his dad. It's like, oh, you're kind of setting up him as a villain beginning because his dad's pretty nice based on the video. Yeah. And what we see of him. So like, because all his mannerisms after that, he's just a dick. So like, makes sense.
And now that I think of it, he doesn't say anything after that because he's a Ditto.
I love that they did the Ditto eyes on the people though.
Yes. Yeah.
That's by far my favorite design.
Yeah, it was creepy. What did you think of? Well, you said you liked the Tim and Detective Pikachu relationship. What did you think of Pikachu?
It kind of took me out of the movie a lot whenever he spoke, because this movie could have been just Pikachu saying Pikachu the entire time. But like, it just feels like that movie, but Ryan Reynolds is just commentating on everything that's happening. Which for me is perfect because I enjoy that kind of humor.
It took you out of the movie?
Yeah, because like it's, you watch a movie with like commentary. Yeah. That's kind of what it felt like sometimes.
Okay. I didn't mind it. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I just, that's just my, like, I'm enjoying it for a different reason than
he had some good lines in it too.
Yeah.
I liked maybe it was just me. I felt like there was a few lines that I was the only one in the theater laughing at them. Like I really liked the line where he says, I think they're attracted to your increasing nudeness.
Oh yeah. Because at one point, what's the kid's name?
Tim.
Tim. He's running away from some.
A-palms. I caught that one.
Yeah.
So they're purple monkeys with hands on their tails.
Mm-hmm. And I guess they grab a hold of he takes off his belt to get away from them. Then they grab onto his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, he runs onto the street with just his t-shirt and boxers.
It was really funny, though, when they would go from Ryan Reynolds speaking to what everyone else hears and just hearing the extremely cute Pika Pika. That was hilarious. But yeah, so obvious bad guy is obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And so his whole plan is he wants to put people's minds into Pokemon bodies.
Which isn't evolution in any way.
But so he does that. It comes Mewtwo and everybody turns into Pokemon.
Yeah.
We already covered this. I don't know why I'm bringing it up again.
And then the end is shit. What's the kid's name?
Tim. Tim Victor.
He's not memorable. I don't know any of their names. Well, like what's the girl's name? The supporting character.
I didn't catch that. I think it's Sophia.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, like I didn't catch any of their names.
No, I only caught Tim because Pikachu said it quite a bit.
Oh, the whole plot with like him taking control of Mewtwo with that weird like brain helmet circuit thing on his head was so stupid. It's like, what? So your biggest weakness is someone taking off that thing on your human body?
Not to mention he does it like in front of the guy who is going to stop him.
Yeah.
Do that and then kill the guy.
Yeah, he just leaves he takes over as Mewtwo and then he just leaves the building.
Yeah. Like, I gotta go do my plan now. Don't do anything to my body, you.
Like, you imagine instead of going directly to opening the closet where his son, the CEO's son was.
Yeah.
He just went over and just took that thing off his head.
Well, that was the other thing too, is because Pikachu at one point at the end of it, where he just says, "How you really thought a Pikachu could defeat Mewtwo, the most powerful Pokemon?" He's like, "Well, I was just distracting you."
Mm-hmm.
And then they pan over and you see Tim waiting there, and it was like he was waiting for them to finish talking and look over and be like, "A distraction? What?" And he's like, "Okay, he knows it's a distraction now. Okay, I'll go do it now."
But you imagine Mewtwo just like crushed Pikachu at that point, just killed him.
Yeah. What did you think of Sophia? I don't know, the girl reporter.
I liked her. She was funny. She reminded me of she looked like Brie Larson a little bit to me.
Oh yeah.
Did you get that? No?
No.
Fine. No, I thought she was fine. She was kind of like cringy with her lines at the beginning when she's first introduced. Yeah, I don't know. I thought she was fine. I think Psyduck might have been my favorite character that entire movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cute. I think he was the comedic humor for sure in this movie.
Mm.
Didn't really do much. Really useless Pokemon. But
yeah.
Oh, he's fun. I like him.
I didn't like her.
No?
No. And I don't know what it was about her. I don't know. I don't know. There wasn't a lot there, I guess.
Did you like how they dressed her up as similar to how your main character would look if you picked like a girl?
A girl. Yeah, I guess so. I think about it. Is there anything you didn't like about this movie, Victor?
I don't know. I didn't like the story that much. I didn't care for the story. I didn't care that like for most of the Pokemon, they were just tossed in there as like background.
Okay.
I don't know.
See, I also, the story left me wanting as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of thinking about it on the drive back here. And I was like, you know what, though? I wasn't really going to this movie for the story. It was, you go for the nostalgia of seeing all these Pokemon. And it was the relationship between Tim and Pikachu. Yeah. And like the humor. It was like one of those things where it was just, it's kind of hard to talk about because it's kind of middle of the road as far as quality. Like it's not amazing, but it's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. It's probably leaning more towards amazing than terrible. But
it's a fine movie. It's good.
Yeah. I would probably watch it again if it was on.
It's definitely better if you enjoy Pokemon, that franchise.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like people in my life who have nothing to do with Pokemon. They'd be so lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they do dumb it down a little bit for people who aren't familiar, but at the same time, like I remember them talking about Mewtwo in this movie. I couldn't remember what Mewtwo's powers were.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I do like that they didn't really explain things to you. They just expected you to know which Pokemon did what and what they're about.
Yeah. I mean, some of them you can kind of get from their physical appearance.
Yeah. How would you feel about a Pokemon movie, but like each movie is about, because you know the games, there's like what, 8 badges they collect?
Yeah.
But each movie was like they collect 1 or 2 badges, and then it's just the movie is just about their journey from like what happens between gyms. They run into like Team Rocket, or they run into like other issues with people, and it's just like an underlying like plot that goes on.
Like a Harry Potter type franchise,
Yeah.
but with Pokemon.
Yeah. How would you feel with that?
Um,
Rather than just being like a movie about like in the Pokemon universe.
Yeah, I could probably get behind that. You'd have to make the main characters extremely likable,
Mm-hmm.
because that's essentially what people kept going back for. Everyone really loved Harry, Hermione, and Ron.
Mm-hmm. Because like that's one thing I was kind of thinking, like if I was a Pokemon fan, if I want to go see a Pokemon movie, I'd like it to be similar to what I'm used to in either a video game or like just a TV show. Anyway, it'd be kind of cool to see the Pokemon in their like setting that I was introduced to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like like Poke battles.
Yeah, but it could very easily become like what's the word I'm looking for? The game is set up so that you learn the strategy of Pokemon battling. And so you would have to do it in a way that doesn't get bogged down in like,
Mm-hmm.
because the TV show did that where everyone really liked Pikachu, and so he gets to the rock gym and he can't use Pikachu, and it's like, well,
Dang.
I don't want to see him use a Squirtle. Like, I want Pikachu to fight the Onix.
I mean, I don't know. I'm fine with Detective Pikachu, but like Detective Pikachu almost feels like a spin-off movie, like a side story.
Yeah.
To like a what I would imagine is a main line of Pokemon movies.
Well, yeah, and that was one thing I was kind of, I don't know, I'm torn about it, because as we correctly predicted, Ryan Reynolds was his dad, and he was it was his mind in the mind of the Pikachu. And so at the end it's reversed, and it's revealed that he is his dad, and they have a nice bonding moment, and they hang out together, and it kind of, I was kind of torn because I liked that they put some finality to the story and they closed that loop.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I was just like, so if they did a sequel to this, the Pikachu is just going to be a Pikachu. Like, it's not going to be Ryan Reynolds again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I brought that up to say earlier to your thing. I wonder if this movie was kind of like them testing the waters, if they could make a Hollywood Pokemon movie, and whether people would actually eat that up or not.
Yeah.
Because this one is kind of like low stakes as far as, you know what I mean? Like, it's not them trying to start a franchise, and it's like they've invested all this money into it. Yeah. Right? Like, they could, if
could easily be a one-off.
Bombed, they could be like, well, that's fine. Like, we close that loop. We don't look dumb because it bombed. It's not like we, at the end of it, was just like, well, I can't wait for our next adventure, and like, to be continued.
And it just never gets continued.
Yeah. I wanted to mention the cinematography of this movie was gorgeous.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Like, there was like some of the night scenes, they remind me of Blade Runner.
Dang it. I would say like it reminds me of like a cleaner, drier version of Blade Runner. There's a lot of the neon lights. It's very like the nights are very blue.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of lighting in this.
Yeah, and like very gorgeous lighting. Like when they're out in the woods and stuff, you have like, I'm sure they're not natural, but natural lens flares.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, really well done.
I like that you picked up on the lens flare thing too. I just learned what a good lens flare looks like.
And it was that?
And it was that.
Because it's not someone shining a flashlight into the camera. It's the sun.
But I guess that's the benefit of having like, CGI. You can make your own lens flares.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if they were, because some of them, I think it was just a nice shot because it was like the sun was setting, and then and they're just like, just throw a Tauros in the background. We could say it's from our movie. Yeah. I don't know why they all sound like George Lucas. It's you just throw a Tauros in the background there.
Do you think that's what he actually did? For like just injecting his ideas into movies? Oh,
absolutely. He's just like, you know what, that's really a great scene. Why don't we just throw Jabba the Hutt in the background?
Just throw some ships back.
Because then it's like poetry, it rhymes. Anyway. Do you have any final thoughts? I mean, I'm struggling to find anything else to say about this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's one of the movies. It's like it's a good movie. There's obviously flaws with it, nothing really like blew my mind about this movie. I think if you're a Pokemon fan, I think you'll enjoy it. But I personally, I don't think I'd watch it again.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be insulted by it. Like if someone was just like, "Oh, we got to watch this movie," I think you'll have a good time watching it. But it's not gonna be your favorite movie of the year or anything like that.
No.
Or maybe it will. Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you'll go nuts for the cute little Pikachu. But yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. You? Any more thoughts?
No, that's it.
All right, you want to end there then?
Wrap it up, Victor.
Thanks for listening, guys. This has been another episode of The Average Uninformed. If you have any comments for us, leave them in the comments. Or if you want to get in touch with us directly, you can email us at averageuninformed@gmail.com.
And if you like what you hear, please subscribe.
And yeah, we'll talk to you next week, which might be
John Wick 3? Maybe.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Yeah, we'll see.
I think it's coming out next week.
Anyways, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.